Earlier this week, a question followed me through the entire day. Do I continue building this life, butterfly, the becoming, or return to the life I already know how to survive? That question shaped the entire day. My mind would not let go. You have other responsibilities. What are you doing? I felt lost, not knowing what to do. I started to shut down internally and question God. I could feel myself standing between two lives. One direction is familiar, with a predictable income, and there is relief inside that kind of structure, especially after years spent carrying responsibilities without room to rest. The other direction looks far less defined. Storytelling does not arrive with guarantees attached to it. That makes the process difficult to explain to people who measure progress through milestones. Sometimes it becomes difficult to explain even to yourself. By late afternoon, I realized the tension sitting in me had very little to do with career decisions. The deeper conflict came from recognizing how far I had already traveled. I cannot go backwards. There is no place for me to go. Somewhere inside, a shift has already taken place. I think many people reach this point privately. A relationship no longer fits the person they have become. A career begins draining something essential inside of them. A once comfortable comfort environment suddenly feels emotionally distant, even while everything around them remains exactly the same. That experience shakes people because the outside world often expects continuity while something internal has already moved forward. I understand that feeling deeply. While sitting alone that evening, the room itself was quiet. Part of me wanted immediate relief from not knowing. That realization forced me to become more honest with myself than I had been earlier in the day. Fear was present, although it was no longer the only thing speaking. Experience had entered the conversation too. Years ago, I walked away from a stable position and relocated my entire life, believing I was stepping into something that would hold me long term. At the time, The future looked clear enough to trust completely. Within a year, everything collapsed. Coming back from that season required more than financial recovery. My confidence changed. The way I approached risk changed. Even simple decision carried different emotional weight. People rarely talk openly about how exhausting it becomes to keep starting over. Rebuilding my life over and over eventually made me crave stability more than possibility. Safety began feeling emotionally necessary. That memory does not disappear simply because a person discover purpose later. Sitting there that night, I finally stopped trying to force certainty out of the future. Nothing inside me relaxed while I kept demanding proof before moving. The mind can spend endless hours searching for guarantees that life was never designed to provide. Love does not work that way. Transformation does not work that way. Life certainly does not work that way. Some experiences only reveal their shape while you are living through them. Another question slowly replaced the original one. Instead of asking whether the path ahead would succeed, I found myself examining how honest I had shown up inside the life already in front of me. That changed what I could see in my future. The pressure eased once prediction stopped controlling the conversation. I could answer honestly. I could answer presence. I could answer whether I had remained connected to what continued calling me forward, even during periods where visible evidence stayed limited. That felt far more real than trying to calculate the future. At some point later that evening, the mental noise finally grew tired. Silence entered the room gradually. Not forced silence, the kind that arrives after the internal argument runs out of energy. I sat there, tracing my life internally, moving backwards through years I had not thought about carefully in a long time. Relationships that changed me, moments where Everything I planned disappeared unexpectedly. Periods where loneliness became so familiar, it almost started feeling permanent instead of passing through. Alongside those memories sat another realization. I had not fully allowed myself to acknowledge before. Every difficult season had altered me in ways I could not recognize at the time while I was living inside it. Looking back revealed connections that could not be seen at the time. Strength had developed quietly. Discernment had developed quietly. Even this voice I use now emerged from experiences I never understood while I was living through them. That realization settled into me slowly, then another truth surfaced behind it. There is no meaningful return available to me anymore. I do not say that with bitterness. The feeling is cleaner than that. Certain seasons complete themselves internally before external life fully catches up. Once growth reaches that point, attempting to move backwards creates tension almost immediately. A person can revisit an older life physically while no longer fitting there psychologically. That was what I finally understood. The crossroads in front of me were never entirely about employment. It was about whether I was willing to abandon parts of myself that had taken years to uncover simply to regain temporary emotional safety. That recognition changed the air completely. The fear remained present. Responsibility still existed exactly where they had been earlier that morning. Yet, underneath all of it sat a steadier awareness. I had already survived uncertainty before. I had already been rebuilt after loss before. Life had continued unfolding during periods where I believed everything important was ending. None of those experiences felt graceful while I was inside them. Most felt like I was lost at the time. Still, each one carried me towards a deeper understanding of myself than the safer path would have provided. That matters to me. A doorway stands in front of me at this stage of my life, crossing through, it does not remove fear. Anyone claiming otherwise is selling performance instead of truth. The unknown still affects me. Responsibility still affects me. There are evenings where exhaustion speaks louder than hope. Even so, I can no longer ignore the difference between surviving a life and belonging to it. That distinction changes people once they feel it clearly enough. So, I am moving forward carefully, thoughtfully, without pretending. Certainty exists where it does not. The future has not fully revealed itself to me yet. Still, something inside knows this path asks for honesty in a way the older life no longer can. For now, that understanding feels strong enough to keep walking. If you are standing inside your own season of uncertainty, perhaps the answer will not arrive through force. Maybe understanding begins to appear after you stop trying to outrun what your life has already been showing you quietly for years. Some roads only become visible after movement begins. Maybe you are standing in front of your own crossroads right now. Maybe life has already been asking something from you that you have been afraid to answer. What would it cost you to change your life? I would love to hear your thoughts or where this episode found you. This has been episode 32 of Butterfly, the Becoming. I am glad you were here.